I'm going to teach you a very powerful tool today that will help you to respond to your kids' challenging behaviors instead of reacting to those challenging behaviors. And this tool is called scripts. So what are scripts? Very simply, you will write the lines, the words, the script that you want to say when you are in a specific challenging situation with your kid. This also works for bosses, coworkers, spouses, moms, etc. And so you're going to plan that out, write the response that you want to say, and practice it beforehand. Now, here is why scripts are so powerful. When we get triggered, when our kids do something that is challenging and annoying and we start to dysregulate, right? It feels automatic. Our yelling or hiding or crying feels like an automatic response, right? But we can train ourselves to have a different response. So here's a metaphor. I happen to be a very solid pickleball player. Laugh all you want. It gives me so much joy, exercise energy, community. And in pickleball, what happens a lot is what we call a firefight, where everyone's close to the net and we're slamming the balls at each other really quickly and trying to defend ourselves. Now, a normal reaction if a spherical object is hurtling towards one's head is to duck or throw your hands up and block, whatever that situation is. But through training, through practice, through drilling, I've trained myself to get in a ready position, hold my paddle up, and wait to respond really quickly with set motions. Through practice, I have short-circuited my reaction and now am able to respond in a split second to what's happening before me. Scripts does the same thing with our parenting. All right, so let's imagine the situation that is very triggering to me at the end of the day when it's time to turn off screens and my kids have promised to do so and they know that they're supposed to do that. They refuse to turn off the screens or they ignore what I've asked them to do. And so this can send me into power struggle, threatening, punishment, screaming, yelling, things that one, are not going to work, and two, send all of us spiraling into dysregulation. So the script that I could develop is to, one, stop and breathe, and then two, say something like, look, you have 2 minutes to put the screen in my hand in the off position. If you don't do so, you are showing me that you're not ready for screens in the evening and therefore will lose these privileges tomorrow night. Please make the decision. You have 2 minutes. And then walk away. I've asserted my boundary. I've asserted the expectation. I have disengaged from anger, punishment, threatening. They know that there's a consequence coming if they choose not to engage in that behavior, and then it's their choice. So I'm actually helping them build their skills to stop what they're doing, follow directions, disengage from something where they're hyper-focused, which are all pretty complicated skills, right? And then I practice that. And that could mean in the mirror with your partner or even role playing with your kids, which can be a fun way to do it because then everyone is in on the practice. We love to practice in bad ways so that everything is going wrong, and then practice in the right way. Almost like a fire drill, if you will, for your family. I highly recommend incorporating scripts into your toolkit to help yourself stay regulated in situations where your kids are very challenging. Let me share with you an example of how scripts and role play helped with one of my kids when he was in a particularly challenging situation. So my youngest, my 7-year-old, is very competitive. And I know where he gets that from. This means that when he's playing games or doing sports, if things don't go his way, he can get very frustrated, and he can be that kid that has the temper tantrum, that screams at the other kids, that flips the board game, that accuses us all of cheating when I know he was cheating at the board game, right? All of those things. And so one of the things I did with him was to start practicing right before the board game, right before the situation. What are you going to do when you get frustrated? And so there was this one time where he was going outside. I think he was to play soccer, and he was playing soccer with some older kids in the neighborhood, so they can do more stuff than him, and they're faster. And so as he was going outside to play with them, I asked him, what are you going to do when you get frustrated? And I think at the time he was 5, so he didn't have any answers. So we did some talking together. He said, well, if I get upset, can I come give you a hug? And I said, of course, you can always come get a big hug from me. And so we practiced that big hug. And then the second thing he said was, if I'm really frustrated, can I punch you? And I said, if you ask my permission, you can punch me in the butt as hard as you want to, which we both thought was funny. And then we practiced that. And so we went outside. I stayed nearby and just hung out. And at some point during the game with his friends, he just came running over and jumped into my arms, gave him a big hug, put him back down. He ran back over to the friends. Don't know what had happened in the situation, but he got his hug. I don't know, 5 minutes later, I could see him get frustrated, and I could see him about to break or cry or something. And I said, do you need my help? Is it time to punch me in the butt? And so he smiled. He asked my permission. His friends were kind of confused. They had never seen this before. And then he punched me as hard as his little 5-year-old at the time fist could do. And I then flopped to the ground like an Italian soccer player and rolled around, aggrieved at how I was knocked down, and everyone was laughing. It took all of the angst from the situation because everyone was laughing and having a good time. And then he went back to playing soccer again. And so not only am I creating methods for myself to support him, right? And scripts and activities for him to use when things are challenging, but we're starting to build his ability to find outlets when he is frustrated by something, which is a skill that he's going to need in life, in various frustrating contexts, right? And so this is the power that scripts can have, and I encourage you to try it in your own life. What is the situation that you're struggling right now with your kids, and what are you going to do and say when that situation comes up next? Let me know in chat.